I might not be from Greenland, but I am Irish. That's also in Europe, so whatever. Anyways, to the point. Sorry about that. Anyways, um, yeah, America is trying to buy. Well, let me say this first of all. Imagine a place, in another land, a land just over the ocean, where the environment is clean and you actually want to smell the air, unlike anywhere in America. You have pristine wildlife, lots of nature. I don't hunt or fish, but if you want to, there's plenty of that. Um, a largely, a more or less racially harmonious society. People get along. You don't have the same two party felon system. Um, it's a snowy wonderland, a magical, beautiful place. Now imagine that same landscape cluttered with and packed to the brim from corner to corner with nothing but oil rigs and oil refineries, and Trump himself, the orange man himself, literally fucking, I'm sorry, I mean fracking the earth into oblivion. Walmarts everywhere, homeless veterans beating on tin cans, begging for change, and hookers. You know what? Actually, even America isn't all bad, but also hookers. Um, Now imagine that in meth addicts vomiting in the gutters, and what you'll have it will be America, a snowy version of America, because America is now trying to buy Greenland, and that is exactly what the fuck we would do to Greenland. And of course, while all this goes on, Denmark, and to a greater extent Europe, once again spreads its legs like some cheap whore and degrades itself on a global level by selling out in the worst way possible and allowing that to happen. But it's not all doom and gloom for several reasons, and I'll get to one in a little bit. But right now, luckily, um, even though they try to go over Greenland's head, the Greenland government has said that something to the effect of, yes, we have a clean environment, we have clear water, we have beautiful, pristine wildlife, we have clean air, clean oxygen. We are a global producer of fine cuisine, seafood, and and they pretty much just fucking totally shit on us and talked about how great they were. And they also said that America, we are striving in the tourist industry, and we are open for business, but we are not for sale. So they pretty much told America go to shove it up our ass, and they should have. Also, on an even better note, is Denmark, because Greenland is a part of the Danish Commonwealth, has also told us to shove it up our ass. So good for Denmark and good for Greenland. But obviously, in this world, money talks and bullshit walks. So it is possible we still end up buying Greenland, and it's wrong for a number of levels. First of all, I think they're better off under is a common part of the Danish Commonwealth, because Denmark, unlike America and the countries we conquer, they actually understand and identify Greenland is an independent, separate state, and they proved that by allowing the Greenlanders to make Greenland's government to make 80 to 90% of Greenland's domestic policies, and Denmark is largely just there to protect them militarily, and they're there to give them so much money every year. I mean, that's really what Denmark does, and they've just inherited Greenland as a part of Denmark. And I think that Greenland is a hell of a lot better off under Denmark rule than they would be us, because believe me, that would not be the case. Like I said, we would exploit their fucking environment, we would destroy the environment and natural landscapes, we would frack the fuck out of them, we would dig up all their oil, we would exploit their resources, and the entire place would be a hellhole by the time we got done with it. And whatever we paid for it, we would not get back an investment in the long run, because by the time we got done, it would be worth pennies to the dollar. You couldn't give it to fucking Denmark. So that's bullshit. And also, what's also bullshit is the Greenland government is not wanting to sell, even if Denmark does. And we are not asking the damn Greenlanders, the Greenland people, whether or not they want to fucking sell. And aren't we supposed to be Or rather, aren't we supposed to be the fucking great promoters and purveyors of democracy in the world? Or why the fuck aren't Greenland, or why aren't the Greenlanders getting a vote on this? So the entire thing is fucked up, and we have no right to try to buy another country. And I'm not sure any other country in the world has the, I don't want to say balls, because I don't think America deserves any kind of respect here, but just the gall and the arrogance it takes to try to buy another fucking country. That is really something else. So, that's my opinion on, fucking Greenland. What else? Antifa, the anti-fascists, again, 1984, Ministry of Truth in the flesh. Not a fan of them, but I don't think they should be a domestic terrorist group, and they are on the left, barely, but I consider them to be on the left, and I'm on the left. So I know that Trump said he was going to label them a domestic terrorist organization, and he's once again kind of riled up those threats, or he's cranked up the threats of that. So my suggestion to fucking Antifa is get your shit straight and stop fucking around with these people and trying to start fights everywhere, if you want to exist at all, because you very well could end up on the fucking federal terror watch list, and I don't want you on that. Hell, I'm sure I'm on that just for making a few videos at this point, because you know how this government is. But nevertheless, I don't want you on that. I don't think you should be on that. So I would suggest that you and the Proud Boys and all these right-wing assholes too stop your shit before you end up on the fucking federal watch list. And there was an event last year in Portland, Oregon, I believe, where they got out of control a little bit, and they had a big fight with the Proud Boys. The Proud Boys and the Antifa got in a fight. And I think there was supposed to be an event, I think yesterday, actually, on Saturday. I think yesterday was Saturday. I don't keep up with my days. Give me a minute. 1 minute. Anyways, they got in a fight yesterday, I believe, not yesterday, but they did last year, and I think there was supposed to be another counter protest or dueling protest, kind of a clash, and I guess it didn't get violent, but it could have. And nothing really happened, and that's good, I guess. Well, what can I say? That's just another day in the Weimar Republic of Austria. I'm sorry, the United States of America. Never mind. And that brings me to, well, actually, that was going to bring me to another point, but I would love to, I'll settle on a positive note here. I'll just say that brings me to another note. If I'm mistaken, I could be mistaken about my history, and I know it would be dumb to fuck this up as much as I'm interested in Weimar theater and some of the things about the Weimar Republic. But if I'm not mistaken, and this is the silver lining really to Iceland, and that is really we have a chance here to kind of manifest destiny if, the government doesn't fuck it up with all the fracking and the exploitation of their natural resources, and the government gets off our back, and we can kind of do what the Amish do, and we can have some land to ourselves to kind of experiment with various different living styles. And I would like to see that happen, and very much similar to what the hippies did back in the 60s. And I would even like to almost start that as kind of a base for a counterculture, or kind of, 1 minute. I just saw something actually that I thought was positive. I mean, I don't usually say very good things about feminists or Gloria Steinem, and I'll say this, but I just saw this in my news feed. She will actually stay away from Israel because of the barring of the two congresswomen from Israel. I'm not sure what basis they have in similarity there, but good for her. I think that's correct. I don't think they should be doing that, and I'll give her credit for that. I've given her credit for some other things. I'm not, whether you're a feminist or anything else, if you do something I agree with and she has the things I agree with here and there, I'll give you credit. So. But back to the point I was making is you could use that as almost a countercultural platform where you could almost launch almost like an outlaw media platform to promote liberal and humanist ideals. And that could be done. I mean, you do have a kind of chance there to manifest history in the United States of America if everything works out correctly with the Greenland. But of course, at the same time, I don't want to really see something like a New York. I don't want to see a New York, and I don't think that we have enough free and, green land left on the planet to really be doing that with. And I don't think we should buy out Greenland. This does nothing, damn it. A minute. This does nothing to help the Inuit people. This does nothing to help any other Greenlander. This does nothing for Europe, and really, it does nothing for Denmark. I'm sure they'll find some way to try to con fucking Denmark out of this. Maybe if that doesn't go through, we'll just do what we do everywhere else and bomb them. I mean, that seems to be what America does it best. But if it did happen, one possible silver lining is if we can manage to make this happen, is you could have a base to almost launch another cultural revolution similar to what you had in the 1960s in America. So that's one possible positive in a world where there's very little positives. And I'll leave it at that. Beyond that, and like I said, unless I'm mistaken, back to that point, Germany really wasn't a separate nation in the 20s, so much of it as it was a part of the larger Commonwealth of Austria, I believe. And Berlin, I guess, was a part of Austria. So all of that German theater that came out in the 20s, late 1900s, the 20s, early 30s, before Hitler fucked everything up, all of that was actually from Austria. And Germany and Berlin was actually part of the Commonwealth of Austria. Similar to how Greenland would be if we did overtake Greenland, or Greenland became a part of the United States. So you have a chance there to almost do what the Austrian Republic did with Berlin when they had all that great culture and everything coming out of Germany in the 1920s, postmodern art and Nosferatu and Metropolis and the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, Gollum. What was another movie? But the point is, you had all these movies coming out and stuff coming out of Germany and Berlin, and they had a great nightlife and everything else. As to where in America, you were still under prohibition. We weren't doing anything culturally. We were still a dump. And Germany was really kind of what we are now, but back then, really, it wasn't Germany. It was part of Austria, so it was Austrian. So that's interesting, actually. But anyways, I would like to do something like that with the Greenland. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want to take that from the Inuit people. I don't want to take that from Denmark or Europe. But if we did, that is a possible positive silver lining out of all of this. And let's finish this video up if I can. 1 minute. Jim Gaffigan, some form of comedian. I think he's a comedian. Damn it. Jim Gaffigan, some form of comedian, says that he's tired of rope critics, and he made some film, something to do with some guy fronting two families. I don't know the details, or like I guess he had two separate families. I don't guess he was a degenerate character. I mean, I'm not really sure what the deal was there, but the point is whether he's said he's had it up to here, he's had it up to, fucking here with all the, whatever. He had it up, with all the fucking critical of the social justice, overly judgmental bullshit that they do. And I agree with them. I absolutely agree with them. I have talked about that. I think it's holding back liberalism. I think liberalism has to break free from a lot of that shit. And I think they blow up trivial issues and they don't pay enough attention to more important issues. And I feel that way. So, beyond that, and I'm going to end this on this because this is just funny. I'm guessing he's joking, but who the hell knows anymore? But Richard Gere wants to see a gerbil invasion. Is in gerbil like the hamster, the cute little mouse creature. He wants to see an invasion of gerbils. And I have to say, that is probably the most adorable concept of an apocalypse I have ever heard of. Of all the ways the world could end, a gerbil invasion is not the worst one. So that's kind of a funny topic to end this on, and it's positive, and a way to stay positive. And as always, do not mutilate your children's genitals, or do not circumcise your children. Research that and don't do that. And peace 666. Peace, love 6666.